Good evening, everyone. The October 20th, 2020 Liquor Board hearing is now in session. Our first order of business, the board now has all meetings transcribed which serve as minutes of the hearings. The board keeps such minutes stored electronically and they're available to review by calling the board for an appointment. I now make a motion that the transcripts of the previous board hearings held on August 18th and September 8th, 2020, be accepted as the board minutes for that date. And I ask for a second.
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 John Bill.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's carried. Thank you. Mr. Blumenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. You'll hear me, but you won't see me. I'm in between places of virtual work and don't have good Wi-Fi connection, which should be corrected by the end of next month. So I'm on my iPhone virtually attending the hearings. As I do at all hearings, a few preliminary statements. The commissioners have outside interests. They're only part-time public servants. They recuse themselves when appropriate and they know about it. I extend it to counsel or anyone participating in these hearings as a witness the opportunity before any hearing starts to raise any question about a possible conflict of interest or appearance of conflict of interest so that the commissioners can consider that and make a decision. Secondly, the board rules provide that the chair may delegate the chair's powers to rule on admissibility of evidence and objections, should there be any, by counsel. The chair has delegated that responsibility to me as board counsel, and in the event of any question or concern or objection regarding admissibility of testimony or evidence, I will rule on behalf of the board, on behalf of the chairman, and my ruling will stand as the ruling of the chair and the board. Lastly, as everyone is aware, we unfortunately are in the COVID-19 scenario and time frame. As such, we've adopted special rules, as other jurisdictions have and other commissions have, where if anyone wanted to be heard at the hearing who is not a participant in the hearing, part of the applicant's case, they have to have notified us in writing 5 days prior to the hearing, and whatever they said in writing is automatically admitted as an exhibit to the particular applicable case. Other than that, while they are welcome to participate by looking and listening, they will not be allowed to participate in the hearings. The applicants will be allowed not more than 30 minutes, preferably not more than 5 minutes per witness, because the applicant also is held to the same admissibility of evidence standard. The commissioners have reviewed everything that's been offered by the applicants. It's not necessary for an expert witness to read an entire expert report, but can give an executive overview and summary in a few minutes, because the commissioners have already reviewed that, and should they have any questions, the commissioners will pose those questions. That is not to say that I'm telling any counsel or any applicant the methodology in which they should present their case. I'm very flexible in that regard on behalf of the chair and the commissioners, but we are trying to expedite the hearings, doing the public's work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and commissioners. You may now call the first case.
Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenthal. Two notes before we start. The first one is that there will be no waiving of the readings during these hearings. And the second note is to all, we ask you to please identify yourself by name before speaking. My name is Chief Wayne Harris. I'm the Chief Inspector. Our first case is Arundel Liquors, known as K&R Liquors, Inc. Ming Guan Sang, President. Zai Wu, Secretary Treasurer, and Arvind Karsalia, Assistant Secretary. The inspector is Roland Marshall. This is a change of officer. Currently, Arvin Carcelia, President, Secretary, and Treasurer on behalf of K&R Liquors, Inc., is trading as Arundel Liquors at 8530 Fort Smallwood Road, Pasadena, Maryland, 21122. They have no restrictions. They're a Class A license.
Okay,
Good morning.
we can continue. Everybody's in?
Yes. Uh, Good evening, J.U. On behalf of the applicant, Mr. Zi is present in my office, and Ms. Meng Zhang is present in my office. And it is my understanding that Mr. Casaria will be joining us separately. I don't know if he has joined.
Yes, he's joined. I'm asking him to unmute. He is in there.
Okay, I'm going to ask all those that plan on testifying for or against to please raise their right hand.
Raise your right hand.
Okay, do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do.
Okay, please state your name and your address for the record.
My name is Zhi Wu. Address is 223 Beixun Drive, Eastern Maryland 21601.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Min Queen Zhang. My address is 29311 Golden Drive, Eastern Maryland 21601.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, and also present here is Mr. Wu's son, who is very fluent in Chinese and English, who may interpret in case there's some interpretation that may be needed. But Mr. Wu and Ms. Zhang, I think will be proficient enough, but just in case.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Yu, this is Harry Blumenthal, counsel to the board. You may proceed by way of proffer of testimony or by actual testimony at your discretion.
Thank you. If I may proffer, thank you, Mr. Corsaria has just joined us. If I may proffer, Mr. Corsaria is the current owner, 100% stockholder, and the president, secretary, and treasurer of K&R Liquors, Inc., located at 8534 Smallwood Road, Pasadena, Maryland. Mr. Corsaria will be transferring 64% of his interest to Ms. Zhang and 35% interest to Mr. Wu. And Mr. Wu will take the position of officer position of secretary and treasurer, and hard time breathing. And Ms. Zhang will be the president, and Mr. Corsaria will continue to have affiliation with the corporation by maintaining assistant secretary position and keeping 1% interest in the corporation. Ms. Zhang has over 20 years of experience in the liquor business, of greater part of it as a restaurateur, having Class B restaurant license, and about 5 years of retail liquor business experience. Mr. Wu has 7 years of retail liquor business experience, and so both of them together, they are experienced in liquor business. Both of them live in Eastern Maryland, which is across the Bay Bridge. Mr. Wu will be the manager of sort, and he will educate the employees. Both Mr. Wu and Ms. Zhang are temp certified and tip certified. Same with Mr. Casaria. And they're all persons of good moral character. They have no criminal records, no serious traffic records. The hours of operation will be continued to be 8 to 10 from Monday through Thursday. And on Saturdays and Fridays, it'll be 8 through 11. And on Sundays, it'll be 8 through 9. Mr. Carceria has been donating to the local voluntary fire department. And Mr. Wu and Ms. Sang will continue to do that, and they are looking into other helps that they can donations that they can make to other community or organizations or schools or sporting activities. Um, if the board has any questions to Mr. Kerseria, Ms. Sang, or Mr. Wu.
Mr. Chairman, do you have any questions?
I do. This is the chairman, John Maloney. But both questions for Mr. Wu and Ms. Shang. You do have considerable amount of experience. I'm just curious, was it in Anne Arundel County, number one?
Yes. Yes.
Where were you employed?
Where? Which store?
In the War Chapel, beer, wine, and spirit.
Okay.
War Chapel.
Whitechapel?
Yeah, War Chapel, wine,
Okay, good.
beer, wine, and spirit.
Right. Mr. Wu?
Same thing.
Yeah, I do. I do have the 5-year experience for the ownership and management for the
War Chapel.
Okay.
Menqingzhang and 2 years for other owner. I have total 5-year work there experience.
Very good.
Whitechapel one, Whitechapel Village one and Spirit, the same store. I worked there for 7 years
Okay.
as a management agreement. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
No more questions.
Commissioners, do you have any questions?
This is Commissioner Duffy. I just have one question in reference to the percentage. I understood you say that one individual had 65% and the other had 35%. That in itself is 100%. But you said the prior owner had 1%. That's 101%. I'm just trying to figure out the percentage
Yes,
that that was mentioned.
I'm sorry. It was 64% as.
Oh, okay, 64%. I was just wondering because we got past 100% with that 1%.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Mr. Pilkins, any questions?
Yes, I do, and I'm scrolling down now. I usually have papers to look through, so give me a moment here. I have some minor concerns about the sales to minors that all three of the applicants have, at one time or another in their career, have had violations placed upon them. But I can't remember. One was 21 years ago, and I don't see anything beyond that. And I just wanted that to be in the record that I'm pleased that you showed those violations. And I don't know what jurisdictions you had those violations in, or even if they were in the state of Maryland. But in Anne Arundel County, that's a serious, very serious violation. And I just want to have that on the record.
All right. Any further questions from any commissioner?
No?
No.
All right. Mr. Chair, time for a motion.
No questions. I move that we grant the transfer.
I second.
Second. All those in favor of the motion granting the transfer?
Commissioner Pilkins, aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Congratulations. And good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're about to call the next two cases on the agenda. This is Chief Harris. The first case would be Buffalo Wild Wings. Now that's the one located at Arundel Mills, and then right behind that will be Buffalo Wild Wings located on Forest Drive. I'm going to call the first one Buffalo Wild Wings, known as BWW Lex Park LLC. Timothy H. Sheridan, authorized person. Dennis Arthur Canaday, authorized member. And Travis Dunn, authorized member. Inspector Donald R. Morris. This is a transfer. There are no restrictions. Transfer currently is John A. Weiler, authorized person, and Timothy H. Sheridan, authorized person on behalf of WAA Arundel Mills LLC, trading as Buffalo Wild Wings 7000 Arundel Mills Circle, R003, Hanover, Maryland 21076. This is a Class BLX deluxe restaurant, music and Sunday license with outdoor dining. I'm going to call the second one behind it, and that's Buffalo Wild Wings, known as BWW Lex Park LLC, Timothy H. Sheridan, authorized person, Dennis Arthur Kennedy, authorized member, Travis Dunn, authorized member, Inspector Nicholas McGarvey. This is a non-restricted license. It is a transfer currently, John A. Weiler, authorized person, and Timothy H. Sheridan, authorized person on behalf of WAA Arundel Mills LLC, trading as Buffalo Wild Wings at 2337A Forest Drive, Annapolis, Maryland 21401. This is also a Class BLX deluxe restaurant, music and Sunday license with outdoor dining.
Okay, Mr. Harris, you can proceed. Everybody's in.
Okay, will any and all people who wish to testify for or against, please raise your right hand. Okay, do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, all have answered. Please state your name and address one at a time, please.
Dennis Kennedy, 8818 Glen Royal Drive, Chesterfield, Virginia 23832.
Thank you.
Travis Dunn, 14 Everglades Lane, Stafford, Virginia 22554.
Tim Sheridan, 8317 Watermill Drive, Millersville, Maryland 21108.
Thank you very much. Ms. Carter?
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, staff, Mr. Harris. For the record, my name is Linda Carter, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the Buffalo Wild Wings that are located in Anne Arundel County. Just by way of background, these were originally franchise-operated stores that have been acquired by corporate and who is running and will continue to be running them. We don't anticipate making any structural changes to the properties, any significant operational changes, and most of the staff is remaining in place, although obviously between COVID and new management, there will be some changes. We have filed 2 applications in connection with this matter, one for each location. I would proffer to the board that all of the information contained in those applications is still true and correct as we appear before the board today. I would further proffer that the applicants are in fact familiar with the rules and regulations of the board. They understand that if a violation occurs, that they will in fact be held responsible for that violation. Again, just by way of background, the corporate policy of Buffalo Wild Wings, and Dennis and Travis, if I misspeak, please correct me, is that all front house personnel be alcohol awareness certified within 30 days of hire. They have a very comprehensive in-house training program, and everybody goes through that. And I would have nothing further, Mr. Chairman. If you want me to qualify each of the individual applicants, I obviously will.
All right, well, Ms. Carter, this is Harry Blumenthal. Good evening. We will accept your proffer of testimony as the testimony of your clients and the applicants. Commissioners, do you have any questions, Mr. Chairman?
No questions.
This Commissioner Duffy, I have no questions.
Commissioner Pilkins?
Mr. Pilkins, you're muted, sir. Your microphone's off, John. Mr. Pilkins.
There we go. All right, yeah, Commissioner Pilkins, I have no issues with the licenses.
That being the case, Mr. Chairman, it'd be time for a motion.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion to grant the transfer, and I'll look for a second.
Second.
And it is those in favor.
Aye. This Commissioner Duffy.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the transfer is carried.
Thank you very much,
Good
Mr.
night.
Chairman. Members of the board, please have a pleasant and safe evening, and may we be excused.
You may.
Certainly.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our next case is a transfer. It's Gordon Biersch Brewery Restaurant, known as Gordon Biersch Maryland LLC. Morgan McClure, authorized person, and Courtney Mowry, authorized person. Leslie Dangle, authorized person. This is Inspector Alan Levy. This is a transfer. Currently, Hazem Up, President, Courtney Mowry, Vice President, Leslie Stangl, Assistant Secretary of GB Maryland, Inc., trading as Gordon Biersch Brewery Restaurant at 1906 Town Center, Suite 155, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor, and has entertainment and Sundays. There is a restriction dated May 1st, 2016, which says entertainment license for multiple TV privilege only. Okay, is everyone here?
Yes, you can proceed, Mr. Harris.
Thank you. Would everybody please raise their right hand who's going to testify? Ms. Stengel, I'm sorry, couldn't see. Do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do. Okay, thank you. Please state your name and address one at a time.
Courtney Mowry, 8084 Moore Street in Arvada, Colorado.
Morgan McClure, 685 Edinburgh Road, Atlanta, Georgia.
Leslie Stangl, 172 West Lake Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Ms. Schrockengust.
Good evening, Mr. Harris, Commissioners Leanne Schreckengast on behalf of Gordon Biersch Maryland LLC. And as Mr. Harris indicated, we are here for a transfer of the liquor license for the Gordon Biersch restaurant located in Annapolis. Similar to the prior hearing, the operation of this restaurant is not changing as a result of this license transfer. In fact, Courtney Mowry and Leslie Stangl are both current licensees for this location and will be remaining on for the new entity, Gordon Biersch Maryland LLC. They will be joined by Morgan McClure as a fellow license holder. As I indicated, the operation is not changing. All three of these individuals are fit and proper. All have received copies of this board's rules and regulations and understand their obligations as licensees. The hours of operation for this location are 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. They have approximately 50 employees, all of whom go through in-house training as well as being required to take the Serve Safe alcohol awareness training within 60 days of hiring. There's always a manager on site at this location who is alcohol awareness certified. So with that, I turn it over to the board for any questions you may have.
We will accept your proffer, Ms. Schreckengast, as testimony, of the witnesses. Mr. Chairman, any questions?
Yeah, this is the chairman, no questions.
Commissioners, any questions?
Commissioner Pilkins has no questions.
Commissioner Duffy have no questions.
Mr. Chairman, time to call for a vote.
I'll make a motion that we grant the transfer.
Commissioner Duffy, I second.
Okay, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. May we be excused?
Certainly. Yes.
Thank you all.
All right, Chief Inspector Wayne Harris here. We're going to call the next case. That's Weston, Baltimore, Washington, BWI, known as BWI Beverage LLC. Peter A. Falat III, authorized with Inspector Yvette Chang Fisher. This is a transfer. Currently, Elizabeth C. Dellins, President, CEO, Edward T. Hugginson, Secretary Treasurer, and Jean-Pierre Lamar, Assistant Secretary on behalf of Crestline Hotels and Resorts, Inc., trading as the Westin Baltimore Washington Airport BWI, 1110 Old Elk Ridge Landing Road, Linthicum, Maryland. 21090. This is a Class HMR Hotel Motel Restaurant Complex license, and there's no restrictions.
Please proceed. Everyone is in.
Okay, anyone wishing to testify for or against, please raise your right hand.
Peter.
Do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Falat, anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Blumenthal, members of the board, Bob Kim on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Filot, and Western BWI.
All right, Mr. Kim, you may proceed either by way of proper or direct testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenthal. This is a transfer of an existing Class HMR complex license for Western BWI. Mr. Filot will be an authorized person and a 1% member, the other 99% being owned by BWI Hospitality, the owner of the real estate and the member, 99% member. Mr. Filot has gone through alcohol awareness training. He has cleared his criminal background check. So if I can just ask Gordon, ask him some questions to qualify him.
Certainly.
Okay, Peter, you're a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
And you're a resident of Anne Arundel County?
Yes.
And how long have you been a resident?
22 years.
And are you a registered voter?
Yes.
And have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No.
And have you ever had an alcoholic beverage license before?
No.
And have you ever had a license revoked or denied?
No.
And do you own any other business in Anne Arundel County with an alcoholic beverage license?
No.
And you have gone through alcohol awareness training, have you not?
Yes.
And that will be submitted with the package. And you understand the rules and regulations as a board?
I do.
And if this application is approved, will you make sure that all of the employees comply with the rules and regulations?
I will.
Okay. And how old do you have to be before you can purchase beer, wine, or liquor?
21.
And what are the acceptable forms of identification?
Driver's license, state issued ID, green card, passport, and military ID.
Okay. Do you have any changes to the application to be filed? Are there any changes to the application?
No.
Okay. And you and I have had discussions regarding your obligations as a licensee, and that in the event there are any issues regarding the operation of Western BWI, that it will be your obligation to appear before the board to answer any questions regarding the operation.
I understand.
Okay, and you agree to accept those responsibilities?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Blumenthal, members of the board, that's all I have of Mr. Filot.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Chairman, any questions?
Chairman has no questions.
This is
Commissioners?
Duffy. This is Commissioner Duffy. I have no questions.
This is Commissioner Filkins. I have no questions.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
I'd say the applicant did very well on that test. By the way.
Thanks.
So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the transfer.
Second.
It's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Very
Have a good evening.
Gentlemen.
Peter, thank you.
Good luck.
Have a great evening, guys.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Mr. Harris, you're muted.
I'm going to ask for a 1-minute recess. I'll be right back. Can't find my agenda. Dropped it in a bunch of other papers. Can I use yours?
Is there a dog in the background, or is
Somebody has a dog.
Might be Harry's dog.
I don't own a dog,
Would
but
you-
I'm here. I'm listening to one which is, as we say down here, up the creek.
Oh,
I'm ready
Or
to.
do I possess a dog?
And mine's in a cage in the other room, so it's not my dog, because I didn't want that to be me. So
I was not
I'm in enough
anticipating.
trouble as it is most of the time, so I'm not.
Well,
Proactive.
will the real dog stand up then? Whose dog is it?
Ed,
It is a neighbor's dog. I'm on
Okay.
I'm in my daughter's house.
I
On
Oh.
the porch so that their dog doesn't bark.
Huh.
And he's not barking, but I didn't account for somebody 5 houses away having a dog and barking.
Really? Somebody call 911.
Bark, bark.
Right.
Well, you have to just remember, Mr. Blumenthal just moved into his condo, so we don't want to call 911 on him.
Yeah, that's right. There goes the neighborhood, huh?
That's true.
Okay, we ready?
Eddie?
Yep.
Let me know when you're ready.
We're all ready and everybody's in.
Okay, very good. All right, the next case, this is Chief Inspector Wayne Harris. The next case is Engrano, known as Engrano LLC. Adam M. Pusateri, Managing Member. Mr. Loons, Managing Member, and Inspector Alan Levy. This is a new license for 302 Harry S. Truman Parkway, Suite H, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. This is a Class H, which is for beer, wine, and liquor, music, and Sunday license with outdoor dining. Anyone wishing to testify, please raise your right hand. Okay, do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address one at a time, please.
Adam Pusateri, 249 Endpoint Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 401.
Thank you. Mr. Loons?
Heracles Lunas, 394 Hilltop Lane, Annapolis, Maryland.
And good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, members of the board staff. I'm Brian Lyman, L-Y-M-A-N, on behalf of the applicants, Engrano LLC, and the two applicants who appear on your screen.
All right, Mr. Lyman, you wish to proceed by way of proffer or testimony or a combination thereof?
We'll start with the proffer, and certainly the witnesses have been sworn. I may need the hours of operation if they intend. I don't think I've seen that in my materials, but I'll get to that.
Before proceeding, I can mute my microphone to get rid of the neighbor's barking dog if that is interfering with the hearing. I cannot tell the degree to which that occasional barking is a distraction. Do you wish me to mute this and just pipe in when appropriate? I certainly can do that.
As long as you remember to unmute, Harry.
I'm an attorney, you know I can't do that. All right.
I can't see you and send you signals, so.
I will mute and come back in as needed.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenthal. You have here Mr. Pusateri, who has experience in the catering business in Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's come back to Annapolis here and has partnered up with a person with a famous name in the restaurant business, Mr. Lunas, to try to start a bakery bistro. This is a fairly small store. There's going to be approximately 48 table seats and 5 bar seats at the actual location, which is right around the corner from the board's offices on Harry S. Truman Parkway. We're here for a Class H beer, wine, and liquor license for Sundays and music. They don't intend to have a lot of entertainment, but they want to leave open the possibility of music in accordance with the board's rules and regulations. I would proffer that all the information in the application remains the same. It is true and correct as it was when it was submitted. Mr. Pusateri is going to be, I think, the creative inspiration here at the store. I've written a cover letter that tries to describe some of the baked goods and ideas that he is hoping to put in place here to make a go of it in a tough time to open a restaurant. But I think that the proprietors are excited. I think they've been working hard on their build out, and they are basically asking for the board for an accommodation here to provide a service to the public, to provide alcoholic beverages for their restaurant concept. As I said in my letter, the restaurant concept, I think, is going to be focused mainly on baked goods and items. They are going to offer some heavier choices, but I think the main focus is also going to be an emphasis on local sourcing for the menu and providing seasonal updates that change throughout the year. And that's their restaurant concept. I have provided them both with the rules and regulations of the board. I don't know that I'll grill them as Mr. Kim grilled his client on those rules and regulations, but I think that they have a good understanding of the board's rules and regulations, what the requirements are if they were to obtain the license, and they know that there's a serious responsibility with service of alcoholic beverages. If the board has any other questions, I'm happy to open it up to that, and I would basically submit on the application unless there are any other details or issues that the board needs that considered.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lyman. I've unmuted myself, as you can undoubtedly hear. Mr. Chairman, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Just Adam, when do you plan on opening? Do you have a target date?
We're looking at the second week of November.
Wow, that's close. Okay. No other questions?
Commissioners, any questions?
None from Pilkins.
This is Commissioner Duffy. I have no questions.
This is Harry Blumenthal, counsel to the board, and I wish I had questions of Mr. Lunas because he's a first-class restaurateur, but I have none. Mr. Chairman, call the question.
Yeah, I move that we grant in Grano the license that they're seeking and looking for a second.
This is Commissioner Duffy. I second the motion.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Good luck.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Hope you do well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Chief Inspector Wayne Harris calling the next case, which is Pier 99 Cajun Seafood and Bar, known as Big Mountains, Inc. Wang Chong Zhao, Vice President. The inspector is Jason McCarthy. This is a new license for 1121 Maryland Route 3, northbound lane in Ambrose, Maryland, 21054. Class H license for beer, wine, and liquor, and Sunday special license. Are those people wishing to testify present? If so, please raise your right hand.
Hello, Mr. Fraley.
Mr. Pilkins, how are you? Scott, if you could turn the video on so they can see your right hand go up. There we go. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fraley. Sir, raise your right hand so we can see it, please. Thank you. Do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I'm sorry. Did you say? I think his might be muted as well.
Scott, are you muted? Can you lean in a little closer so we can hear you?
Did you say yes to the oath?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I heard him.
I heard that, yeah.
We're gonna need a name and address, please, for the record. Mr. Fraley, he's muted.
Yeah, I don't see the mute button on Inspector Harris, but can you, Scott, to say your name and address, can you move the phone close up to your mouth?
He's muted.
The sound's not working for some reason.
Mr. Blumenthal, are we okay with that?
I will waive his testimony at this time, subject to the possible questioning required by the commissioners later on. So we can move ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Blumenthal, and gentlemen, I apologize for the technical glitch there. And I do think he might be trying to sign back on. But in the meantime, if the board's okay with it, I'll proffer what would be Mr. Zhu's testimony if necessary. This is an application for a new Class H license at the request of Big Mountains, Inc. for a restaurant that's known as Pier 99 Cajun Seafood and Bar. And as the board may deduce, this is a Cajun boil style restaurant involving a rotating array of seafood options. Now, the board members and Inspector Harris and Mr. Blumenthal may be familiar with this type of cuisine. Essentially, the customer selects certain types of seafood, the level of spice that they want, everything gets mixed together, put out on a table, and it's a family style Cajun boil. Kind of like a crab feast, except you're using crawfish, shrimp, king crab legs, and the like. Now, this is kind of a unique restaurant concept in that there really isn't anything like it in the nearby Gambrels area. You're starting to see them pop up around town. I know there's one downtown Annapolis, and I think there's one that's getting ready to open up in Glen Burnie. But in discussing this concept with the majority of his neighbors, Mr. Zhu was meeting with great enthusiasm. Everybody thinks that this is a fantastic concept to get together with family. Maybe not right now during COVID-19, but in the future, I think it's something that everybody's going to enjoy. And really, when discussing the concept, everybody said, what would be better than a beer, glass of wine, or a cocktail with the meal? The location is 1121 Route 3, which is in Gambrels, where the old Dickey's Barbecue was located in the Chadwick building. And currently, the restaurant is under construction, almost finished. And in fact, we're hoping to have an opening date sometime in the first week of November, if at all possible. Throughout the development of this concept, as I stated, Mr. Zhu, who also goes by Scott, has reviewed the neighboring restaurants to ensure that this particular concept won't interfere with other licensed establishments. And as I mentioned previously, there's really nothing remotely close to this concept nearby. Therefore, we really don't see any negative impact on other licensed establishments in the area. At this time, our projected hours of operation will be from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 12 p.m. through 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday, which would account for meals being served for both lunch and dinner. This is a family and friends oriented restaurant. It's not expected to be a late night hangout, and we really don't expect to see any issues with traffic or any issues with noise complaints from surrounding neighbors. We haven't received any opposition from the public that we know of. Mr. Zhu has gone through and gone door to door for all of his neighbors in the actual Chadwick building, and everybody's very excited about the prospect of this restaurant with a adjacent bar opening up shortly. Mr. Zhu, who is the qualifying and only applicant for this particular license, meets all of the board's requirements, owning property and residing in Anne Arundel County for over 2 years. It's expected that he is going to be heavily involved in the day-to-day operation of the business. And he's been advised by me and understands that if this license is issued, he is going to be on the hook for any violations that may arise from this board's rules or regulations or any portions of the state code as may be appropriate. As being heavily involved in the day-to-day, it's really expected that he's going to be on site for the majority of the time that Pier 99 is open and operating. If it does become necessary, we will hire a manager for the business, and if that point comes along, we'll be sure to issue an appropriate management agreement for the board. Mr. Zhu has never been convicted of a felony, nor has he ever been found guilty of violating any laws concerning the sale of alcoholic beverages or violating any of this board's particular rules and regulations. He has been in the restaurant industry for a number of years, and previously he worked at the General House in Glen Burnie, Maryland, which is an Asian restaurant, and that particular location holds a liquor license. During his time there, he's never received any complaints or citations. The license has never been suspended or jeopardized or revoked. Currently, with the COVID-19 pandemic, Scott is expecting to hire a chef and a bartender for the initial phases of opening. He also has 2 partners in this business. He's a 1/3 owner of the corporation and expects them to be involved as well with the operation. He asked for identification before serving alcoholic beverages and has indicated that his policy will be, if you look under 30, you're getting carded. Mr. Zhu has been tips trained. He intends to have all of his staff who are going to be serving alcoholic beverages tips trained as well. I met with him just last week prior to this hearing, and I explained to him the rules and regulations of this board. I gave him copies of this board's rules and regulations. He had the opportunity to ask me any questions as well. With COVID-19, Mr. Zhu really understands the restrictions that need to be in place. I have advised that he close off every other bar stool to account for proper social distancing. And I've also requested, and he intends to abide by this, that most people who enter the restaurant wear appropriate masks and completely social distance to prevent the spread of the virus. Since its submission, there are no real additions to the application. It is true and correct. And I would submit to the board that Mr. Zhu is a fit and proper person to hold a license, and we would be welcome to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley. This is Mr. Blumenthal, and since you indicated that if you look under 30, you will be carded, commissioners expect to be carded should you grant this license. Mr. Chairman, do you have any questions? Mr. Chairman.
For time, the presentation, very good, very informative. No questions.
Commissioners?
This is Commissioner Duffy. I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, and that is in reference to a boil of seafood and the restaurant that you had indicated in reference to being located in Glen Burnie, the Hook and Reel. But I am looking forward to it because I live closer to this new location than I do Glen Burnie, and so I am looking forward to it. My only comment is that you didn't include a menu in your package, and I would love to see a menu.
I'm happy to email one.
You know what? That might affect our vote. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, that might affect my vote if I don't see a menu. Yeah, please.
I'm happy to forward along. Yeah.
I look forward to it.
And
I'm a seafood lover.
Don't forget some samples.
Commissioner Pilkins would like to know if you're going to have some Cajun music.
It will be on, if you request it, we will have it.
Yeah, that makes that bowl of food go down a lot better. You got some good old Cajun music up there.
You got it.
Mr. Fraley, you're on your game tonight. Mr. Chairman?
He's always on his game.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we grant the license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion is granted. Approved.
Thank you all.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Wayne, you're muted.
Let's try that again. The last case on tonight's docket is Severna Park Golf Center, known as Augusta Associates LLC. Robert J. Brilliant, managing member, and James R. Davidson, member. The inspector is Inspector Mary Deschamps. This is a new license for 1257 Ritchie Highway, Arnold, Maryland, 21012. It's a Class D license for beer, wine, and liquor, on sale only. Entertainment and Sunday license. Those wishing to testify, please turn on your video and raise your right hand. Mr. Davidson. Mr. Bittner.
Yes.
Get that, we had it and we're getting it on.
Okay, Mr. Davidson, I do see you, sir. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Davidson, is Mr. Brilliant also here?
He is here with me, Mr. Chief Inspector.
Okay, thank you.
Hear me?
Can you turn your video on so we can see his hand raised, Mr. Bittner?
We're trying to get that worked out. Everyone can hear us? Hello, can you hear me? This is Richard Bittner speaking.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, and we'll accept your proffer that all hands are appropriately raised so we may continue with the hearing.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Davidson and Mr. Brilliant, Do you solemnly declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony that you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I'm sorry, who is this?
Robert Brilliant says I do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davidson?
I do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
This is Robert Brilliant. I've taken the mask off so you can hear me a little bit better. My address is 18, what address did I put down there? 18 Severn Way, Arnold, Maryland, 21012.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
James Davidson, 211 Long Creek Court, Stevensville, Maryland, 21666.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Bittner, how do you wish to proceed?
Good evening. Richard Bittner, B-I-T-T-N-E-R, on behalf of the applicants. If the board please, I would request to proceed by proffer.
Certainly, please do.
Thank you. And let me say at the outset, pleasure to see you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. What we have here should be familiar in many ways to some of the members of the board. A Class D license existed at this location, and what we're applying for on behalf of the Severna Park Golf Center is a Class D off-sale license. What Mr. Brilliant and his partner, Mr. Davidson, are hoping to do with the board's permission is to upgrade and modernize the Severna Park Golf Center. I'd ask the board to take administrative notice of the prior license that was there and of this location. I'll move in our application and all of the exhibits at this time. I'll proffer to you there have been no changes and all of the information is current. So what we have...
we will accept the application and all exhibits as exhibits, and we'll accept the proffer of the past issuance of a license for public need to absent evidence to the contrary as evidence of public need in this case. Please continue.
Thank you. As the applications note, both of these applicants are fit and proper persons. They meet all of the qualifications to hold the license. As I believe is replet in the application, this license is supported by the community. There's no other license like it in Anne Arundel County or anywhere close. This is a new concept that Mr. Brilliant and Mr. Davidson intend to bring to the Severna Park, Annapolis area. And what's going to happen is in each of the individual tees or hitting bays, and this is the reason why we're requesting entertainment, there would be individual TV monitors in each bay, which would allow the golfer to, if they want to practice, to have analytics, distance, swing mode, or the golfer could play a course. They could play against other golfers. They could play individually. They could play Augusta, Pebble Beach, wherever they want to go. So the community has requested of Mr. Brilliant and Mr. Davidson that they would like to have the ability to consume a beer and alcoholic beverages while they're playing golf. Alcoholic beverages will not be served on the mini golf range course, mini golf course. They would be consumed in the snack bar area, which has about a dozen spots at the counter. They have a deck that has about 12 seats or so up on the deck, but mostly in the individual tees, it would be the anticipation of where the consumption would lie. Those individual boxes, when the build out is complete, will be fitted with a video monitor system. So the staff that's in the pro shop will be able to see what's going on in each individual tee. They will also have ambassadors who will be roving the area to monitor any activities that's going on, and the applicants intend to put into place a banding system to be able to monitor it. Quite candidly, what Mr. Brilliant tells me is he doesn't anticipate that there'll be any issue with over service of alcohol or service to minors, because it simply doesn't attract that type of crowd. The hours likewise aren't conducive for that type of activity because we're talking 12 noon to 9 p.m. 7 days a week would be the request for service. Mr. Brilliant and Mr. Davidson have undergone TIPS TAM certification. In fact, I just received that on behalf of Mr. Brilliant today, and I'll submit that to the board tomorrow. It's their intention that all of their employees would be TIPS TAMs certified. It's a unique concept. It's licensees who held a license before. They held a license from 2010 to 2014. No violations, no violation. They just made a business decision at that time with some things they were going through with reorganization that they did not want to renew the license. Now, with the opportunity they have from Top Tracer coming in, Top Tracer has indicated to them that yes, an alcoholic beverage is an important adjunct benefit to what they do with golfing. We've submitted over 100 names. Make sure I got that count. 86 names plus your form 96 in support. I'll proffer that since the sign has been up, Mr. Brilliant has received overwhelming input from the community. They can't wait to come out and see the new Top Flight video screens and participate in that and share with their family. It really is a family location. I believe, Mr. Chairman, that covers everything. Mr. Brilliant is here, and I apologize for the video. I think maybe you have us now.
We do.
Thank you. I appreciate my left-hand paralegal and daughter-in-law, Jessica, getting that all straightened out for me. So Mr. Brilliant is here, Mr. Davidson is here, and they're happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, any questions?
I do. How many bays are you going to have?
So we have a total of 43 hitting bays. However, only 15 are presently undercover. And since I pay a monthly fee for the Top Tracer range, only the covered range for the time being will be will have the technology.
Okay, so
and so that's covered and heated. We just put in some heaters, so it's a covered and heated range. We'll have some shares in the beginning due to COVID. We have to social distance even though we're outside. It will be it's just, I just tried it for the first time, and it's really a phenomenal technology, and it's something that will really, it will really appeal to both golfers and non-golfers alike.
Yeah, sounds exciting.
And we also have a plan. I'm with a construction firm now. We have to get a structural engineer because we have a retaining wall that we have to remove. But we have 5 additional bays that we're thinking about covering. We applied for a building permit to cover the additional bays if the 15 existing go the way I think they will.
Okay. Now, are they hitting into a screen or?
No. They're hitting right out to the driving range. The cameras are behind them. It picks up the flight of the ball. As Mr. Bigger says, they can opt to do a long drive contest. They can opt to play a course. They rent the bay by the hour, and that includes the cost of the range ball.
Great, that sounds great. No other questions. Thanks.
Commissioners, other questions?
Yes, Mr. Blumenthal. This is Commissioner Duffy. This is just for clarification only. Mr. Bittner, when you stated, unless I heard it incorrectly, you stated that this was an off sale.
No off sale.
You mean to say on sale?
No, for the record, I heard exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
you did state off sale.
You said off sale.
No, I'm sorry, no off sale.
Just need to get the record corrected because I thought that's what you meant. But
yes.
My apologies. This is on sale only. No packaged goods. No off sales. That was.
Okay.
I've been waiting for 15 minutes to tell you that, and then Otis Duffy jumped in and said it, and I missed.
Well, it was a part of my note taking, but I understood. But I do want to.
Members of the board, while we're clearing the record, Mr. Bittner mentioned something about a snack bar. That is clearly something we hope to do in the future. There is not a snack bar. The only seating will be on the exterior deck, and then, of course, the seats down by the top tracer.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification on that. I do want to congratulate you on explaining why you wanted entertainment. I'm like, entertainment on a golf course, but now I understood exactly what was going on. So I appreciate that clarification on the entertainment part of the video and all. So thank
I'll
you.
bring in some Cajun food and you come hit the ball at the top tracer. How about that?
Yes.
That worked.
I got you. I
I'm gonna-
understand now. Why the
Any-
request for entertainment? I have no other questions.
If there are no other questions, let me first ask, if I may, Mr. Brilliant. I played a similar multi-storied facility outside of the West Palm Airport and one outside of the municipal airport in Atlanta. Is this the one-floor version of that kind of facility?
That's correct. That's called Topgolf. This product is called Top Tracer Range. The Topgolf facility is about a $12 million build out, and people love the technology, and Top Tracer came up with a way to put it in one level or even two. I mean, the levels don't matter, but it's the same technology, but not in the big complex that is Topgolf. It's designed for ranges like ours. I had a great meeting with them down at the PGA show. They loved our location. We, in fact, are the only ones in Maryland for the time being. We're the first ones to bring it to Maryland. So I'm thrilled that it's going to be in Anne Arundel County, and I appreciate your allowing us to give them the full Top Tracer experience.
All right, Mr. Chairman, no further questions. It'll be time for a motion.
Yeah, one last question. When do you plan to be fully operational?
So I just got a text that the screens are being delivered. The electrical work, the upgrade, we had to upgrade a lot on the electrical and fiber optic network. That's all done. The screens should be in the first week in November. We're going to do about a month of friends and family and training and understanding how it works. I don't intend to, it's really spring of 2021 is, people put their clubs away in the winter. Even I put my clubs away in the winter. I know Mr. Blumenthal doesn't because there is no winter for Mr. Blumenthal.
And summer.
But we're hope to get everything in place to pick up the license end of February. Winter is when the golf business, at least in the Mid-Atlantic, prepares for the spring. So that's what we're going to do and test it out, make sure it works good, and invite folks in 2021, early 2021.
Sounds great. Good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'll move that we grant the license. And I'm looking for a second.
I'll second. This is Commissioner Duffy.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of granting the license?
Aye.
Aye. John Pilkins.
John on mute.
And I got tricked by the mute button again.
There you
Yes,
go.
aye from
Aye,
Commissioner
okay.
Pilkins.
The motion will carry, and good luck.
Thank
Congratulations.
you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chair. Members of the board, thank you. Be safe.
You too.
All right, Mr. Chairman, time to conclude the hearing.
Okay, I conclude the hearing. It's adjourned.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
All right, commissioners, have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye,
Mr.
Harry.
Blumenthal.
Take care.
Be safe.
Thank you, Wayne.
Good
Everyone
meeting.
be